Hey, I'm Adam Thompson. I'm guessing you wish you had more time at work and less time having to get involved in the work of your people if you're in a managerial sort of role. Well, there's things you can do about it. I call them the 3 C's. Today I'm going to go through the first one that gets it set up. It's a pretty fast ride, so buckle up. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. You're spending your time in the detail and you're not spending enough time doing what you see as the job you're paid for, which is to look into the future, maybe strategic stuff, maybe it's improving things. Here's what's going on. For you to be able to do your work and not be involved in doing the work of your people, 3 things need to be in place. Clarity, capacity, and capability. If your people don't have the clarity on what they need to do, if they haven't got the capacity to get that done, and if they don't have the capability to do it, who's going to end up doing it? You are, because you're a decent person. So here's what you do to create clarity. First, the front line. The front line, make sure you've given them what they need. Not only the equipment and the tools, but things like, you could call them job aids, procedures, guidelines, checklists, all that sort of stuff that help them to do the job well. You want their minds being used to actually do the job, not trying to remember to tick off 5 things. Pilots use checklists, okay? Helps planes not crash. It's a good idea. Your people who manage the front line, their job is not to pick up shovels and to get things done. In an emergency, of course, they've got to pick up a shovel, but generally their job is to optimize and solve so that production works the way we thought it was supposed to. They could identify things like equipment's not working or training's required, and their job is to manage. Manage means take accountability for the outputs of the results. Manage means take accountability for the outputs of the results. That's what we're asking of these guys, and we want them to work in this time span. We want managers of the front line to be thinking in time spans of 3 to 12 months. So make sure you've actually spoken to them about how the show needs to look in a quarter. If we haven't done this, they'll might perceive their job as just to simply get involved on the front line. So let your managers know that. Now we're talking about people who manage the managers. So some organizations call them senior managers, some organizations actually call them managers, and they call these guys team leaders, whatever. Managers of managers, you want them in charge or thinking about the whole system. If they've got multiple teams, how does the work flow through? How do the suppliers work coming in? Where does the equipment come from in the first place? These guys might identify that the equipment's not working. These guys might identify where do we get the equipment from in the first place and how is that set up? So think of it like a network, think of it as a full system. So we want these guys working in a longer time span. It's how hierarchy works when it works effectively. You're actually changing the fundamental way that work works to be able to create more value for the people that we're serving. It's going to take a bit of time. By the way, stop being scared of hierarchy. Hierarchy run badly is awful, should be booted out. Hierarchy run well is a really good way to organise a lot of businesses, and it's really appropriate for what they're trying to get done and the people involved. The other key role of the people that are in charge of the whole system is changing the system according to the strategic requirements. In other words, if we decide we no longer do that and now we do that, then these roles are accountable for figuring out how on earth do we get from that to that. Now, a little side note on accountability. That does not mean that if you're in this role, you sit by yourself and doing it, excluding all the other people from the room. All we're talking about here is who's accountable for making the decision. Let me quickly define work for you. Work is about making decisions and then taking action based on those decisions. And decisions means judgment. In other words, not stuff that the calculator or the algorithm or the Excel spreadsheet can tell you the answer for. So ultimately, you're paying people for their judgment, and we want to make sure that these guys are judging which procedures and policies and training do I need to apply in this situation. These guys are judging how do I optimize and solve this problem to make sure that things work the way they should. These guys are making judgments about, is the whole show making sense, and is there a fundamentally better way to do it, and how do we move to a new way of doing show. And by the way, the executive or the strategic work is making judgments about what on earth do we want the shows doing so they create value at all. Let's try to make it clear that this is what we're asking for from the roles, give them work that fits into these time spans, and you've created that first step of the clarity about what you're looking for from the roles. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to connect with me, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Facebook, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, there's Insta, my blog is called Zen Organizations, and if you like, you can just send me a message and we can have a conversation about how these ideas can help you to get more time to focus on future work. See you next time.